We're here in Mordona with Crossrune Tia and Arya. Say hi to Arya. When I first knew I'd lost my memories, I was confused, frightened even. Ever since I started training as a red mage, it's as if none of that matters anymore. Thanks to you and Crossrune Tia, I have so much to look forward to. My life is my own. Level 60, the color of her hair. Rune has a proposal for your ongoing training. Zilly, Arya, while there were lessons to be learned as I dragged you along on my quest for vengeance, 'tis time I offered a more structured approach to your training. With the support of you and your companions, Curtis's daughter has liberated Alamigo, but rather than return in this moment of glory, I feel I can contribute more to the rebuilding of my homeland from without. It was 2 decades ago that I joined the revolutionaries. Though our motives were just, it was our actions that ultimately created a breach for the Empire to exploit. My time at the forefront of that stage has ended. To return to it now would only invite confusion and resentment. Revolution has since become the resistance, and the right to shape the future of Alamigo now rests in the hands of those who will live the coming age. Now I shall play my part by nurturing a new generation of red mages. I made my mark as a crimson duelist, but you will not be bound by my oath. You are free to decide for yourselves how best to employ the skills I teach you. Now, as far as your studies, you are well aware of my proclivity for practical application. We must challenge you with a new frontier, a place where the strong gather in search of adventure. To Idleshire, my friends. Alright, guess we're going to Idleshire. Over here. Hopefully this one will be quick too. Young Arya has invested in her appearance, it would seem. Doesn't she look the part? New outfit. Alright, let's break in that new equipment. There is a hostile organization of goblins known as the Illuminati making trouble for the people here in Idleshire. The most prominent threat to the populace seems to be the mechanical soldiers controlled by Illuminati aggressors. I say we do the locals a favor by using these clunky contraptions as combat practice. After your battle with Lombard, however, that may be all they amount to, especially for you, Zilly. Your mastery of red magic is such that now that I dare say you could handle a mechanical soldier or two of your own. As for you, Arya, your spells have raw power but lack refinement. I think I would prefer to have you training alongside a partner. I wish to try fighting alone. Please understand, before I began learning magic, I felt like I scarcely existed. But when I work to match you and Zilly, when I see myself improving, that's when I feel most alive. I want naught more to become a full-fledged red mage. I want to stand at your side and fight as your equal. How far be it from me to stop. You mayhap the perfect way to conquer your difficulties with white magic is to be alone in a situation which offers you little recourse but to rise above them. Both of you should head now towards the Architecton and find your own mechanical foes to overcome. I will be waiting for you here in the Maker's Quarter. Quite sure exactly where we're going. That was just right outside. Okay, know where that's at. Proceed to the Maker's Quarter. I don't know, if this one goes as fast as the last one did, we should be able to get 3 or 4 done today. That would be nice. I have a feeling I have to get a bit more experience for my Black Mage before we can do their quest, so we may have to do a roulette. That was simple enough. Yeah, we still need to do those dungeons, but we have to get some of these job quests knocked out first. I have come to recognize that confident step. Well done, Zilly. Did you happen to spot Arya on your travels? Unless I have sorely overestimated her abilities, I would have expected her to arrive not long after you. Arya did seem intent on proving herself. Pray forgive the tortured metaphor, but I have a feeling she may have sliced off more than she could fry. Come, let us seek out our young mage and render aid if need be. This is our leveling gear. Dilly, I did it. I won. Dilly, there you are. Is Arya unharmed? Arya? My, that is a fair gathering of goblins. From the looks of it, defeating this bot took almost everything she had. Can you walk, my friend? I've never seen you so... Give them to me. Your life energies, your souls, I must feed. Her hair, she's become like Lombard. Stop this, Arya. There's no use, the hunger has taken over. We'll have to knock her senseless. More like lame bard, right? Yeah, I know. I suggest we take her back to Idleshire and let her rest at Rowena's establishment. I only hope she will be more amenable to discussion when she awakes. The... Ooh, Charlene. No aetherites here. Well, there are plenty of aetherites. There are none I can use. Where are you? Right in the middle. There wasn't like one of these side rooms. What happened? Did I truly attack you? Gods, why would I do such a thing? I remember defeating that contraption. I remember falling to my knees, exhausted from spellcasting. I remember my thoughts fading away as a roar in my head grew louder and louder, and then nothing. I don't understand what possessed me. Never would I draw my blade on you or a rune. This was poor judgment on my part. I should not have tested you so harshly. Listen to me carefully now, Arya. I have seen how battle can exhaust you, but I fail to understand what grim truth such exhaustion presaged. In the moment you say a roaring drowned out your thoughts, the color of your hair changed quite distinctly. We witnessed a similar transformation in Lombard ere he began to feed upon living ether. Lombard was able to employ magics of incredible power, but it left him hungering for life force. I believe what you experienced was a surrender to that very same hunger. It cannot be. My erstwhile colleague described how he enacted a change in his physical being. While I suppose it is possible such a ritual was performed upon you as well, he mentioned the process requiring many years. You have many more questions, I am sure, but for now you must rest. If this hunger takes hold when your ether is exhausted, it is even more important that you recuperate from your exertions. And Arya, do not despair that you have lost yourself. After all, you are in perfect control now, are you not? I am, thank you, Rune. Zilly, we will seek the cure to Arya's condition. Though I have little knowledge of such forbidden arts, I am confident that a determined expedition will yield the answers we require. Prepare yourself for another journey. Making all kinds of noise in here. Really, dude? Like, chill. Traced in Blood, level 63. Rune proposes a journey to the cradle of Red Magery. You ready to depart? The journey I have in mind will take us into the mountains of Girabanya, where we will visit the ziggurat built by the Red Mages of El. Lamebard and I once explored these ancient ruins, searching for knowledge of the first incarnation of red magic that was long ago before we met Curtis and joined the revolution. Before I realized the manner of hidden wisdom for which Lamebard had been truly seeking. The edifice itself has now been overrun by Kikirn, but a thorough expedition could still unearth something of value, mayhap even the secrets behind Lambard's occult transformation. Arya, my friend, I must ask that you remain here and continue your convalescence. No spellcasting. Not even a lick of flame to light a candle. In the weakened state, we know not how suddenly the hunger might return. Yes, of course, just the thought of what might happen is enough to make me feel ill. I'll be fine in my sick bed, but what of you two? Are you really going to travel all the way to Girabanya just for me? What would you do if the positions were reversed? If Zilly were afflicted by a condition and you knew a cure might be found beyond the mountains, what then? Why, I would be out the door in a moment. Thank you. Ha 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 ha. That you would respond so emphatically is the reason we have no qualms about doing the same for you. Arya's worked so hard to master her skills, I imagine it will be hard to refrain from training for a while, but she must recover from her exhaustion first, before aught else. Come, the ziggurat awaits. Rest well, Arya. We shall return as swiftly as we are able. There's either right here. Lagana. Alright, let's minion it up. I don't know what's a good red mage minion. Good butts. Crimson, but it's close enough. Alright, to the ziggurat. Excuse me. Kikirn. Let's begin our expedition, shall we? Be on the lookout for stone tablets bearing the histories of the Red. I mentioned that it was our forebears in the art who constructed the ziggurat. It was built to suppress the unstable weather that was whipped up in the wake of the era's calamity. Sort of dampening weight that slowed the land's raging currents of ether to a trickle. In time, however, the ziggurat also became a library where successive generations of red mages enshrined their stories and their secrets. It is a shame that so many of these precious slates have since been lost to plunderers or simply worn down by the ravages of time. As such, I do not expect to find a fully intact record of Lambard's ghastly rite, but at the very least we should discover hints of what the transformation ritual entails. You take one way and I'll take another. We'll both take care not to fall prey to Kikirn bandits. Okay. This elevation for this one. Gotta avoid all the fights we can. It's unnecessary, it'll just slow us down. Assuming he's on the ground, huh? There he is. How did you fare? I discovered a number of tablets myself, which, positively fascinating, offered little in the subject of occult rituals. Oh, if I'm reading this one correctly, you may have found exactly what we're looking for. How convenient. Appears to be a record from a time before red magic was unified as a distinct discipline. The passage describes the rite by which one can make a pact with a void scent and ingest its blood in exchange for supernatural power. Even amongst their kin, certain creatures of the void harbor a voracious appetite for living ether. Lambard must have acquired the ability to siphon his victim's life force from one such a fiend. Practice in question is said to have started with a family of Maki sorcerers who lived in an era preceding the Sixth Umbral Calamity. For red mages who draw so heavily upon their own ether, there's an obvious, if distasteful, advantage to stealing a foe's life energies. If one can employ such energies to fortify and sustain one's own form, as Lambard did, then one can even wield magics beyond the limitations of ordinary mortals. Not surprisingly, however, its tendency to result in ether-starved madmen led to a rite being declared a forbidden art. There's more. Some mention of an alchemical concoction that would serve to sate the hunger for ether when living prey was unavailable. And the helpful scribe has even included a method for its preparation. That's just fortunate. We got all that information. Aria's transformation was strikingly similar to Lombard's. Surely this concoction would prove effective at curbing her condition as well. Let's see here. It seems the main ingredient is a chunk of semi-crystallized ether. Such a substance could be drawn from the core of an urolith, and I'm thinking the bigger the better. If I recall correctly, there are uroliths to be found in the east in the vicinity of the Sleeping Stones. Pray, find yourself one of the larger specimens and procure an ethereal core. Once you have what we need, we can rendezvous in the hamlet of Alagana. I shall busy myself collecting the other ingredients. I would think there. Okay, we'll teleport here. It'll save us some time. Not much, but some. Mason's Fall. Going for a stroll. Marble Urolith. There we go. Unbreakable Urolith. disappearing on me just yet. Check his status. He's about halfway there. He ain't Oligana, we'll just teleport if he's there. Give us the flight back. Are you able to procure a suitable core? Ah yes, this will do nicely, enough to create a decent-sized dose at any rate. Gather together the other ingredients. All that's left to do is deliver them into the hands of an experienced alchemist. I can alchemize. Ah, but Arya must be wondering where we are. Why don't you go on ahead to Idleshire and avail her of our progress? I'll meet you there as soon as I'm finished haggling with the potion mixers in Ul'dah. Actually, pretty long line so far. She's in the same place still. Kind of potion, and it's supposed to help with the hunger? That will be one less worry then. Do you think Rune will be here soon? Be back soon? I can't read today. I am returned. Arya, pray drink this concoction, and I shall tell you of our discoveries in Girabanya. By the gods. The taste was not exactly pleasant, but I already feel much recovered. It's as if a cool stream of water was poured on the fire in my chest. I don't know how to thank you. Your smile is the finest reward we could ask for, but I ask that you do not become complacent. That tonic is merely meant to help replenish your depleted ether. It will do naught to undo the underlying affliction. I understand, if I exhaust my mana again, I'll be back where I was, a savage controlled by hunger, which means I should still give up on training for now. For now. So you think Lombard infused me with void-sent blood while I was held captive? According to what I found in the Yellow Jackets incident records, the span of time that elapsed between your kidnapping and subsequent rescue was not terribly long. And for much of your ordeal you were shut inside a box. It seems unlikely that there was sufficient opportunity to perform a highly complicated and dangerous ritual. Now we must look elsewhere for the truth behind your condition. You must let me help you. It allows me to begin practicing magic again even one day earlier. It is torture watching the moments pass, wasting time I could be using to catch up to you. You'll never catch me. You'll get there. I'll certainly try, though I'm not sure what help I'll be. I think we'll have our suffering friend delve into the scrolls for us. The Charlayans have left behind a veritable mountain of lore through which we can dig for answers. Silly, I shall leave you to your training. After all, you must give Arya an ever-growing peak to look up to. Level 65, Night King. Rune has a particular book he wishes to track down. Greetings, Arya and I have begun wading through a sea of ancient texts, but we've yet to fish out any promising cures for her condition. I did, however, recall something which may help narrow down our search. Long ago, Lombard had one particular book which he would read with uncommon intensity. I've forgotten the title now, but I do remember that inside were scrawled the memoirs of a deranged killer who was executed as a heretic in Ishgard. This criminal is said to have committed a number of ritualistic murders, all carried out with most peculiar form of thaumaturgy. I merely thought it a vulgar choice of reading material at the time, but now I wonder if that peculiar form of thaumaturgy was what kept Lombard glued to its pages. It sounds positively awful, and yet it might just give us the clues we've been missing. I'll see if I can't track those memoirs down. I understand it's quite a rare volume, and when it comes to hunting down elusive treasures, it may be worth consulting a professional treasure hunter. Are you acquainted with Midnight Dew? Why don't you take Arya and pay her a visit? I'll try my hand at a different route. Long shot, but Rowena is known to stock a truly eclectic range of wares. Alright, we'll go see Midnight Dew. Oh, it's you. Something you need? A heretic's memoirs for the young lady here? Bit of an odd request, but who am I to judge? Oh, so you're working with Runtia then? Thought you wanted it for some sort of tasteless personal collection. Let me think now. Ishgardian heretic, ritualistic killings. Oh, hells, it couldn't be. One of my fellow salvagers was just telling tales of a treasure he spied in the Great Google Library, a rare book called Nightkin. Claims he glimpsed the title as he was running for his life through Rhapsody's Quadrangle. 'Tis a sought-after tome for collectors of the macabre, said to be written by an Ishgardian murderer who believed himself some manner of demon, half a diary, half a grimoire, and chock full of bloody lunacy. It certainly fits the description. We should head back to Rowena's and share the news with Crossrune. Thank you for your help, Midnight. Yeah, I think, like, the first letter is just like the tribal name, so it's like it actually is like X-Rune, maybe? Or Z-Rune, G-Rune. It's not like Y-Stola, it's Ishtola. I don't know. Yes, Nightkin, that was the title. Written by a killer who thought himself born of fiend. Such a belief would certainly brand him a crazed heretic in Ishgard, but I suspect the truth is he was much like Lambard, a mage who delved too deeply in forbidden arts. Did you say the book was seen in the Great Google Library? I've not entered that place since the Charlayans departed this land. What have you, Zilly? Yeah, I've been in there a couple of times. Like the back of your hand, eh? Well then, I vote for you to be our guide. I hadn't known the library's guardians had turned hostile. I'm sorry, Arya, but you have to remain behind. No sense putting you in a situation where you might be forced to fling spells. Oh, I would have liked to have seen those fabled shelves, but you're right, of course. Zilly, let us hurry through the hinterlands. There's some intrepid scavenger makes away with our prize. Giovanni and Hinterland. Not one of those tales, but 5 of 9. Do. Two arrows are throwing me off on the map. One of them's Darvaretum over there. Oh, good. Excuse me. Right, let's not dawdle once we're inside. We make straight for Rhapsody's Quadrangle and leave as soon as we've acquired the tome. From what I remember, the book Lombard would read was of a fair thickness and bound in leather covers. Hopefully it will not be too difficult to find. Yeah, I mean, how hard could it be to find a book in a library? Duty calls. Commence battle for Nightkin, level 67. Proceed. There's more lair than library now. Lead the way, my friend. Paying any attention. Light. Good. Principia. Friends. Silenced. Back here. Who's not? What level sent to 67? So now to find that book. The year 960 of the 6th astral era of murder did occur wherein a member of the clergy was struck down by a knight of common birth. The knight, whose name was Trifaniel, wet his blade in the priest's blood after witnessing the unspeakable abuse of an orphan waif under the pretense of an exorcism. May his conviction in the face of corrupted faith be praised. Pages contain incredibly detailed pictures of female deities in various stages of undress. No male divinities appear to be included in this collection. No, not that one. The Tokui Season is titled Night King. Kind of like that one. The Arcana Killer. During the Thorn Dynasty, a series of unsolved killings shook the very foundations of Ul'dah. The murderer was so named for the practice of leaving a card from the deck of Arcana by the bloody bodies of the slain. Officials publicly suggested that the murderer selected targets based upon divination, as several key figures of a faction that opposed the royal house were prominent amongst the victims. However, it was whispered that the seemingly random slaughter was merely a cover for political assassinations. Angel in Darkness. The ink has faded to the point of illegibility. It's just going to be the last one, but like it couldn't possibly just be that, huh? Diary of a Goldsmith. Today I visited the Twelveswood. Lady Amandine of the Darton Cours, a regular patron of mine, bid me to call upon her household. Oh, that's That's Hawk Manor, huh? Set off with confidence, my latest masterpiece in hand, but I was within the walls of Hawk Manor that I beheld the true pinnacle of perfection.
Tap the ever-living.
Fast enough.
Take so much damage.
My healer's working. Plenty enough. Stop hitting me. I mean, look, he almost killed me with that. My gear is good. Even with the level sync, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's just like if like hit or two, he'd knock me clear out. I am the descendant of demons, a scion of tainted blood. It is for my brethren born into darkness, for the nightkin that I pen these words. The holy men will insist my teachings are madness, the ravings of a deranged killer, but you shall learn that all I strive henceforth is eldritch truth, and their faith the twisted lie. Yes, we found it, there can be no mistake. We need Antari in this place. I breathe my fill of moldy parchment. You did well in there, Zilia. I've never known acquiring a book from a library to be such a strenuous endeavor. May I see the tome? Yes, the author does certainly seem convinced of his demonic heritage. I can see how the clergy of the time would have passed these writings off as a heretic's delusion, but the spellcraft contained within is aught but incoherent rambling. In his memoirs, this mage has provided specific instructions on the workings of forbidden sorcery. Little wonder that Lambard spent so much of his time studying the tome's secrets. But there is more, much more. Let us return to Idleshire. Arya needs to hear this. Not buying you. Stop botting me. Oh, it does. We're just gonna teleport. Alright. Just finished logging through the last pages of the Nightkin. There were truths I discovered which made it difficult to continue, but amongst a mounting sense of horror, I found hope. Thus I bid you listen until the end of my tale. I shall begin with the author himself. A descendant of the author. And so this man who wrote the Nightkin was not merely some disturbed killer, but a mage who had mastered the arts of the ancients. Exactly so. A century ago in Ishgard, this monster in mortal guise devoured all manner of forgotten texts, teaching himself everything from red magic to Maki summoning rituals. The secret to his seemingly inexhaustible power lies in his bloodline. He was directly descended from a Maki archmagus who had ingested the lifeblood of the void-sent Queen Lilith. In fact, it was with this very archmagus that the vile practice of infusing oneself with void-sent blood first began. I believe I told you how the Red Mages later outlawed these rituals, but the damage had already been done. Lilith's insidious energies had been passed on to the Archmagus' heirs. This clan of ether-drinking spellcasters became known as those who were born into darkness, the Nightkin. The revelation which truly shook me, however, was yet to come. I discovered that Lambard was a scion of the Nightkin clan, and quite likely so are you, Arya. The book's author was of the Callowise family, a surname shared by Lombard. No small amount of trepidation, I determined to look once more into your family records and learn that the Callowise name was also prevalent on your mother's side. This can be no coincidence. Are you saying that void-sent blood runs in my veins? Explains your preternaturally strong affinity for black magics. When I remember that Lambard was of similar arcane disposition, the connection is even more obvious. He had no need to ingest fiendish blood. He simply awoke the corruption which had always lurked within him. The rituals for doing so were clearly described in the pages of the Nightkin. Were these rituals performed upon me, too? Again, it is doubtful considering their complex requirements. My theory is that your latent talents were stirred into wakefulness quite by accident through your induction into the ranks of the Red. I wonder, however, why the same awakening that took years for Lambard occurred so swiftly in you. Innate affinity, mayhap? Whatever the case, that this unstable condition was triggered by your desire for control certainly explains Lombard's parting barb about the injustice of your fate. But all is not lost. There is a way to undo the curse of your lineage. First, Callowise drew Lilith into our physical world by providing a mortal host for her soul to possess. He stood unflinching before the fiendish queen he had summoned and forged with her a bargain of blood and darkness. Once the Archmagus had partaken of her essence, however, he entrapped her inside a heavily glyphed box. Her material form thus captured, Lilith was unable to return to her shadowy realm. It was written that her imprisonment on this plane of existence was a necessary act, lest the potency of her blood begin to wane. Do you understand what this means, Arya? I think so. The corruption inside me will last only as long as the Void-Sent Queen remains in our world. So I see, we need to find that box and banish Lilith back into the Void. Exactly right. Defeat the Void-Sent and the curse upon your blood is lifted. Of course, a creature of Lilith's stature would ordinarily present a near insurmountable challenge. We are fortunate then that the summoner bound her essence to a feeble vessel to prevent her from manifesting her full power. Even we few should stand a chance against this lesser incarnation. Now it appears the author succeeded in tracking down Lilith's prison, and though the book makes no mention of the event, it is entirely possible that the box passed into his possession. Our surest bet will be to follow in his footsteps. Rest and prepare, my friends. We have an exciting adventure ahead of us. Excellent adventures. Level 65, Nightkin. Alright. Level 68, Child of Lilith. Rune has a new development to share with you. Ah, your fellow student has had the most astonishing dream. Why don't you tell her about it, Arya? It was so disturbingly vivid. I dreamed of a man who wrote the Nightkin. In a corner of the house in which he hid away from the world, he kept a coffin-like box, black as night it was, its sides marked with jagged lines of purple. As he watched over it unblinking, an inquisitor broke through the door with a company of knights. Half the soldiers were ordered to haul the man away to the tribunal, while the other half seized the coffin. This coffin you describe is the very image of a Maki tool of containment. It's as if you saw a vision of past events. It was probably just a nightmare brought on by the tales in those memoirs. Well, as things stand, your dream is the best lead the memoirs have given us. Let us pay a visit to the tribunal in Ishgard. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, I say. Foundation. Alright then, let's move on further still. Sacred Tribunal of Hellenic Inquisitory Doctrine. Dilly, thank the gods, this officious bureaucrat refuses to allow me access to their records. Mayhap people listen to you. Dilly, did you say? What strange coincidence that you bear the same name as... Ah, it is you, in the flesh. My apologies for not recognizing you sooner. Whatever the hero of Ishgard requires, we shall not hesitate to provide. This was in regards to the heretic killer who left those awful memoirs, yes? Your request shall be given the highest priority. Pray understand, however, that records of objects seized in the previous century are not immediately at hand. They may take some time to scour the archives. Just like that, eh? A moment ago you were ready to cast me out into the snow. Mayhap you should take Arya on a tour of the city. I'll stay here with our new friend and help guide his search. Suppose we would just be in the way here. Could we go to the last vigil? I hear the view is spectacular. You're gonna run around Ishgard? I've already spent a lot of time here. We should want to go to the Dusk Vigil. Or the Stone Vigil. This is amazing. I was told you could look over the entire city from up here, and I couldn't wait to see it for myself. Fond of such sights, are you? So you are fond of high places, then? If they come with such a view as this, I am. I would ask why you keep asking me that, but I'm afraid the answer would lead to an even stranger questions. To be honest, though, I wanted to burn this first sight of Ishgard into my mind to fill the empty spaces in my memory with wonderful vistas. When you first rescued me, I knew not who I was or where I belonged. As I've said before, I scarcely felt that I existed. But the well of my memories is no longer empty. Though it has been but a small fraction of my life, my journey with you has shaped me into what I am now. So you can understand why I'm so eager to return to our training. Red magic has given me the power to fight against a fate that would have left me hollow. Silly Arya, we've learned the resting place of Lilith's prison. Incredible as it may seem, the coffin from your dream matched the description of the heretic's box, purple lines and all. The Inquisitors were apparently so unnerved by its fell energies that they cast the thing into a ravine. The place in question is known by the delightful name of Witch Drop and is to be found in the Corythus Central Highlands, swarming with void cinders, so I'm told. Shall we? Central Highlands, huh? Okay. Oh, it's full of taunt. Yeah, which drop? I think that's a little chasm right on the other side of that castle here. Bodraga or whatever down there. Chasm is crawling with fiends, just as described. Are they drawn by Lilith's dark essence, I wonder? Let us descend to its depths and begin digging. Mayhap the very power which attracts the void scent will help guide our efforts. Oh, you will be able to follow us down there, won't you, Arya? I seem to recall you had a crippling fear of ghosts and spirits. But what? No, I'm fine. There are no skeletons or specters here, so I'll be fine. Perfectly fine. So fine, you felt the need to tell me the 3 times? Well, considering your current troubles with spellcasting, you'd best stay close in any case. For the souls of the righteous ascend to Halone's halls, their earthly forms are not afforded the same honor, but goodly men and women deserve proper burials, and so all who come down must go up. I've recall seeing him before, but I haven't been this way in a while. Dig in the snow, but find nothing. Dig in the snow, but find nothing. Ominous coffin lies buried beneath the snow. Only one bearing my blood gift may break the seal. Slay this pretender. We're all to pay. Sarcophagus appears. It disappeared too. Okay. I guess I gotta go talk to them again. Okay, I found it. What are you guys doing? Just over here. Under the shallow mound of snow, you say? Extraordinary. Only one bearing my blood gift. Could this mysterious voice belong to Lilith herself? Let me try opening the coffin. If the voice is telling the truth, then I'm the only one who can. Very well, Zilly, lead us to your dig site. Looks just as it did in my dream. I'm going to open the lid. I feel the waves of malice even through the wards. This is no lowly imp. Proceed with caution, Arya. Lilith may be in a weakened state, but she is still a queen amongst her kind. Let us not be caught unprepared. Gods above. Yeah, Nanta. At last, I am free from that miserable prison. 1,000 years of scheming cometh to fruition. Yield unto me thy vessel, child. Thou shalt be host of mine immortal glory. Host, you seek to possess Arya's body? Masterpiece of centuries. For generations I have guided the dreams of my blood-gifted, bringing them together and strengthening their line. When at last the Chosen One was born, I sent another to secure my precious vessel. He commanded his own puppets, never knowing he was mine. Lamebard. Heed me, child, my darling creation. I am the reason for thine existence, for the entanglement of thy sires, for thy deliverance unto solitude. Do not listen, Arya. Her words are poison. Come, deny not thy destiny. Thy life was molded by my hand. This was always meant to happen. My parents, my uncle, all of it. Sweet child. Arya, no. Well, that didn't go quite as planned. Way to go, boss. Gods damn it, Arya moved as if entranced. Lilith must have some hold over those who bear her blood. It was Arya's dream that led us here into a trap. If we are to believe that hissing serpent, this meeting was 1,000 years in the making. But all is not lost. See how she did not immediately claim Arya's body for her own. From what I understand of such things, in order to possess a mortal host, Lilith must conduct a ritual of exacting preparations. There is time yet to deduce the location to which she fled. Let us return to the pillars and consider the possibilities. Yeah, 1,000 years of planning. You didn't have a place prepared already? I guess it's hard to set up an altar or whatever whenever you're locked in a coffin. Lilith's words yet echo in my ears. Deny not thy destiny. Thy life was molded by my hand. Arya became a red mage to gain control over her fate, and I'll be damned if we abandon her to this one. But first things first, we must expend every effort towards finding the place where the Voidsent has taken our colleague. The ritual preparations will not take forever. Level 70 with Heart and Steel. Rune seeks the wisdom of thaumaturges. Or holy. Really, I've decided we should go to the Thaumaturges Guild in Ul'dah for help with tracking down Arya, of course. I've been doing some research into Voidsent possessions, and as I suspected, the process is not a simple one. Even so, I doubt we have time for me to become fully fledged expert on the subject. We need one right now. Thaumaturges are one of a few organizations familiar with our quarry. Considering how they are also the modern successors to the arcane knowledge of Mach, their shelves may even hold ancient lore that could tell us more about Lilith. Let us be away. Hulda. Ah, Zilly, I've just been explaining our woes to Prelate Yayake here. Oh well, when Rune spoke of another colleague, I did not expect to be meeting our very own avatar of devastation. Now then, the tomes with passages pertaining to the void-sent Lilith are all forbidden occult works, abhorrent volumes chained to the shelves in our deepest archives, never again to see the light of day. I'll just pop back there and grab one or two. You could wait over there for a moment. Yes, no one is ever to see them. I'll be right back. By Thal, she's even more sinister than I imagined. With no mention of her presence in the past millennium, I had thought Lilith destroyed, yet it would seem she is very much alive and exceedingly dangerous. Her most fearsome aspect is the power to enslave a person's will. If we include all those with even a whisper of her essence within their veins, she has slithered inside the minds of a veritable army. The sigil employed by this Lambard of yours is a second-hand manifestation of Lilith's ability. He would but need to coat a tool with his tainted blood, then engrave her name in the flesh of a victim, create the unthinking puppet you described. And that was but a faint echo of her true power? Correct, a power she will not hesitate to bring to bear on the mortal she so despises. Archmagus Callowise made doubly sure of that when he lured her into his trap. As well as a talent for draining the life force of her prey, Lilith is also known for spitting venom, a truly hideous opponent. But the Archmagus came prepared with potent antidotes. Undone by her summoner's treachery and the limitations of her mortal host, Lilith found herself divested of her beloved rod and sealed inside a Maki sarcophagus, and then spent the next 1,000 years plotting her escape. It is as you say, but mere freedom is not her endgame. Above all else, I imagine Lilith desires a form which allows her to manifest the fullness of her terrible power. She means to reinvest her soul within the perfect vessel, and thus enhance the strength of her incarnation by an order of magnitude. Pop, pop. Perfect vessel. Lilith carefully orchestrated Arius' conception over the span of centuries. If we do not oppose her now, I dread to think what havoc such a cunning and powerful fiend could wreak upon Eorzea. Look what she has accomplished already. So subtle were her manipulations, not a single one of the Nightkin realized her plan or sought to destroy her. Well, this has all been very enlightening, but we are still no closer to finding Arya. Have you any ideas? In order to invest herself within a new host, Lilith will need to recreate the conditions of her original summoning as faithfully as possible. Alignment of the stars, weather, location, that sort of thing. The location I can tell you, assuming the ground itself hasn't fallen into an abyss, Lilith will have taken your friend to a summoning circle in the ruined city of Mach. You've been to the Weeping City? No getting there without an airship and a pilot, eh? No, but not to worry. We know the very person who can help us on that count. Deputy President Jesse of the Garland Ironworks. I shall contact her immediately. I've been in touch with Jessie after that assassination business, as she puts it. She was more than happy to lend us a company ship. Prelate Yayake, you've been an immense help. How can we repay you? That won't be necessary. The guild was already richly compensated by a certain merchant. He requested we aid any mages of the Red who might happen to seek our knowledge. Are you acquainted with Master Wilkin? It would seem he's been quite generous in spreading his wealth around Ul'dah to ensure you encounter no refusals or inconveniences. Well, well, the gratitude of a wealthy merchant is a fine thing to have. Right 'tis time we were off to Revenant's Toll. Jesse will be waiting. Don't forget to stock some antidotes. I'll be terribly disappointed to hear you died on Lilith's venom after the tale I told you. buying antidotes. People who die. Moon's told me the story and I have an airship ready to fly. I'll pilot you into the swamp myself. I said I'd return the favor to Ari and I don't go back on my promises. Shall we go? I'm moored on the northern bank of the lake. The plan is simple. We cut through the ruins as quickly as we can and unleash merry hells on the Void-Sent Queen. The outcome of this battle will decide Arya's fate. Bring everything you have and make sure that includes a vial or two of antidote. Why do they keep saying bring antidote? Is that even really a thing? Is there even really a thing as antidote? Go check a shop. I'm not going anywhere. I don't see any. Yeah, that's not it. Oh well. Will I need it, like, just to complete the mission? But if that's the case, they should sell them here, or they should provide me with one. I mean, that's not really a thing, is it? I don't have like a Suna. Everything, got your gear, emptied your bladder, and make straight for the ruins of Mach. Duty calls, commence battle for with heart and steel. Level sync is in effect, level 70. What if we die? We'll go get some. Not that worried about it. All aboard, folks. I don't know much about this demon witch, but you send her back to the void. I want to see Arya safe and sound. Lilith only has one chance at this ritual, but once she knows we're there to stop her, she may begin the ceremony anyway. Conditions be damned. That happens, and we must defeat the fiend ere she forces her soul into Arya's body. We will triumph over Lilith and free our companion from her curse. Deep in the city. What part is this? Oh, okay, I know this. Stairs we go. Good thing I came and cleared out most of this area already, right? Put that insidious aura before. Lilith is here. easier than the book then. Assuming that's it. Alright. Arya, Lilith is slain. Come back to us now. Damn it, why won't she wake? The void. Where am I? Where is everyone? I see. This is my own mind. I'm being forced aside by that fiend. Yes, accept thy fate, child. Mine own form was destroyed, but within thy vessel has my soul taken refuge. Once thy will hath diminished into oblivion, mine essence shall transform this shell. I will rise anew, glorious and complete, and then shall I wreak my vengeance upon all the children of man. Seek not to defy me, my darling creation. Surrender to the void. Surrender to me. Lilith created me. I have to accept this fate. It was what I always meant to be. Forgive me, Zilly. There were so many more memories I'd hoped to make. Farewell. No, this cannot be all there is. I want more. I want to live. Do not torture thyself, child. Your will is forfeit. Thy fate is sealed. I decide my own fate. Arya, welcome back, my friend. Zilly, look out. Lilith is still here. Your soul is safe now. Lilith is gone. You triumphed over her at last. A chance I wouldn't have had you not destroyed her in the flesh. With a stout heart and the power of red magic, there is no foe we cannot overcome, as the two of you have so amply proven. Now let us put this dreary ruin behind us, but have a care for your surroundings. This old city is home to more than sinister void sin. We did it! We did it, Zilly. 'Twas a hard-won battle, but your heart and steel carried the day. And we must express our gratitude to Jesse for conveying us to the ruins in the first place. Nay, I was but returning the favor. Unlike certain presidents I could mention, I don't like to leave the books unbalanced. She's always poking at Sid, huh? I'd best be getting this girl back to the company docks, so this is a farewell from me. Take care, Jesse, and thank you. Shall we head back to town, then? Yeah, I don't remember her at all from, like, prior to the Red Mage quest. I mean, she was certainly in some of the other, she was in, like, Omega raids, obviously. I'm a Stormblood, but I don't remember at all in, like, Heaven's Word or anything. Oh, there's not like a successful rescue attempt to put a smile on my face. 'Tis wonderful to have our companion back safe and sound. It's wonderful to be back. I cannot wait to begin my training once more. Arya, about your training, surely you felt the change within yourself. Your proclivity for spellcasting was a property of Lilith's blood. Now that her corruption has faded from your veins, so too has your aptitude for the arcane. Yes, I feel the difference. My ether is so weak now that I doubt I could cast even the simplest of magics. I wondered how you would take the news, but you seem almost happy. I am. This way I get to study magic from scratch and know that all my achievements will truly be mine. Of course, this means I'll have a lot more work to do before I can catch up to Zilly. But having such a distant goal will be what pushes me to endure the training ahead. I'll be waiting. Come at me. What? I'll get there one day. Never to be seen again, huh? I don't know, people do pop up from time to time. You've the heart of a red mage, that's for certain. Start yourself off with the basics of thaumaturgy and conjury. A foundation you built yourself will be far more stable than instinctual power you possessed before, and when you've grasped the fundamentals, I can start your training in red magic again. I look forward to that day. As for you, you've grown stronger than ever. You've known for some time now that the magics of Red Mage are fueled by the caster's own ether. The potency of your spells is a reflection of your indomitable spirit. And I dare say that the soul crystal you bear will reward your dedication to the art by granting you new knowledge. This concludes my stint as a mentor for now. Zilly, you have graduated from my lessons in Arya. You must ready yourself to begin all over again. You have flung yourself into revolutions, smoldering ashes, and reignited the fires of Alamigo's glory. Remember the light you brought with that liberation when you next plunge ahead into darkness. Soon you speak as if you mean to leave us. I must return to my pilgrimage, but fear not, those who defy the tides of destiny are always drawn together sooner or later. And so this is not farewell, merely a temporary parting of ways. Eagerly do I await the day our paths cross again, my friends. Level 70 with Heart and Steel. Oh, that. Complete. Your unyielding mastery of red calls power within. We're holy. This concludes the Red Mage quest for Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. In order to undertake the next series of quests, you must first meet the following requirements. Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers must be registered to your service account. You must have completed the main scenario quest Shadowbringers. You must have completed the role quest, A Tearful Reunion. Once you have done so, the next Red Mage quest will be available from Arya.